We are live.
We're doing it live.
I feel alive. That's good.
Welcome, guys, to the podcast. We're a little off today. We were talking about some anal dilation before we jumped on here.
Yeah.
And all of
I'm
its
not-
benefits.
Yes, there's a lot of benefits.
Well,
That's a great way to start off with. What are the benefits of anal dilation, Joey?
Oh well, the obvious. The shit will just fall right out. There's no need to push. There's no need to clench your ass. It'll just come right out. So anal dilatation is very important. That's a very important benefit. Yeah, you don't need to worry about fiber. Nothing. You just
I was strictly in the pleasure game. I wasn't even talking about functional day-to-day living, but here we are.
Oh, yeah, well, because I'm in healthcare. It's very everyday living is important.
You're a good man, Joey, looking after all of our assholes for us.
That is my job.
Should I explain why we're late?
Yeah, go for it.
So let me tell you something that happens here in Arizona. Nothing. No one changes the fucking clocks. Absolutely nothing. So I jumped up at 7 thinking I'll have a lie-in. And Alan was like, so we doing this or not? And I was like, hell yeah, we're doing this, man. I'll be ready. And he's like, well, the thing is, I know you said you'll be ready, but it's 8 minutes late. So I literally had no idea that the clocks changed because it's my first time experiencing this now. So apologies to everybody and to Alan and to Joey.
Well, like the rest of the states were like, hey, we're all changing the time, right? But for some reason, Arizona decided to opt out of this for whatever reason. So for all
because
of
they
us,
don't need to be fucking farmers in like the 60s. That's why.
But you can't be the only state. Like, let's either all the states do it or not at all. You know what I mean?
Why
Wait.
is that?
Name another thing in America that all the states comply to.
That's
Every
true.
state's
That's a
like,
good point.
We're going to carry out guns differently. We're going to decide if abortion's a thing. We're going to do this with COVID. Like, no one agrees on anything here. And it's kind of cool. And be honest with you, I'm kind of with it. But it's a little confusing if you've not lived here your whole life. It's a bit confusing. But
you gotta take the name of this country literal. United States, like they're just states that are united, but they're all separate in the way they govern themselves.
They're united as in landlocked by each other.
Pretty much, yeah. Except for maybe Alaska and Hawaii. Those are weird ones. But
yeah.
Yeah, they're not even kidding. They're like
but it's effectively my fault. So I'm joking, but I'm genuinely sorry because I hate being late for anything. So
yeah.
when you were like, oh, when you said, hang on, it's 8 now, and I went, oh, the clocks must have changed. I threw up a bit in my mouth and body.
Damn,
I'm the same way.
Aggressive.
Finally, like I'm the same way. Like Joey always gives me shit about it because I'm like, I can't be late to anything. I start having anxiety when it comes to it. And for some reason, my wife likes to push every single thing to the last very minute. And I'm like, and I go absolutely bananas. I'm like, we got to go now.
All right. No. I married a girl who is as... Let's do a callback, yeah? Who is as anal about being early as I am. So what you end up with is if we're supposed to be somewhere at 8, 7:15, we're in the parking lot just chatting.
Yeah.
We walk through those goddamn doors at 7:58, and we do.
Well, it's like I used to say in the restaurant business: if you're on time, you're late. That's what we are.
Yes.
Yep. If you're on time, we're late.
Imagine you open the doors in a restaurant and I'm like, oh, sweet, 9 a.m. I'd like to have some breakfast. And you're like, oh, no, fucker, we got to turn shit on. And like, we'll be ready at like 11:45, but hang in there.
It'd be ridiculous. But I wonder what happened with Arizona when it came to that. Like, did they just go like, nah, fuck you, the rest of the states, we're not doing the time change? Because literally when the daylight savings happen, you go into specific standard time. But like the other part of the year, you're in Mountain Standard Time, which is my time zone, I believe. I think I got that right.
I actually thought we were supposed to be changing it like federally at some point. I'm not sure if that bill passed or not, but I thought we were changing it so none of us were changing our times anymore.
Yeah,
dude, this is why Arizona doesn't. So Arizona was exempt from the time change during the energy crisis of winter 1973 to 74. For the history of how Arizona, blah, 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 shut the fuck up, don't care about your website. This one says that the idea was brought back during World War II, and Arizona reluctantly participated for a single year and then went, no. It's the most Arizona thing I've ever heard. They decided in 1967 how they would live the rest of all time. They were like, no.
I mean, gotta give them props for that. They stood their ground. They tried it and said no. I mean, gotta give them credit for that.
I'm sure that any decision Arizona's made is like, we don't want daylight savings, and also let's talk about that border. everything they do.
You would think Texas would be on the same board with Arizona, though, when it came to the time zones. No, Texas has 2 time zones in itself within the same state. So
they were too busy inventing their own toast, which I believe is a thing.
What? Texas toast?
Texas toast. I was like, is it just toast from fucking Texas? They're like, no, dude, it's big and buttery. I'm like, of course it is. It's big and buttery and full of racism. Let's do it.
Everything's big and buttery here. Where did Texas toast come from? Where did they come up with that name? Was it actually
not Texas?
No, it's not. It's going to be from Oklahoma or something.
That's right.
It's some guy who went, imagine toast, but more. That's most American things. Like, if there's a state name behind a product, just think of that product much bigger and much juicier and much whatever the fuck. That's what you have to think of.
So it actually is from Denton, Texas. Texas toast was first created in 1946 at a pig stand in Denton. After a bakery order for thicker slices of bread resulted in slices too thick for the toaster and a cook. Wiley Cross suggested buttering and grilling them as a solution.
Dude, the guy who did that, what an asshole. Can we just talk about his frame of mind real quick? The guy who did that was literally like, they were like, hey man, can we just get reasonable request? Can we just get the toast just like a tiny bit thicker? And he's like, I'll fucking show you. I'll make it so thick none of your shit will work. This dude.
No, or it was a conspiracy for toaster companies to come out with new toasters they have to buy.
Maybe.
But they didn't. Have you seen a toaster that can fit that sucker in there?
No, because normally they just bake it, don't they? They just bake the bread. They put garlic on it. Yeah, they put it on a baking sheet. They're showing a picture of baking sheet, but...
And that was another guy. It's like, it's too big for the toaster, so we may as well put a ton more butter and garlic on it. It's like, this is getting out of hand. It's delicious, though. I had it with, I had Raisin Cane's for the first time.
What did you think? What did you think?
Favorite chicken place.
What? How? I don't get it. It's like,
let me be clear. Favorite chicken place for like a fast food chicken place.
Okay. I gotta share some.
And bear in mind, there's probably a bunch I haven't tried, but I tried Raisin Cane's and I was like, that is fantastic. Now, Raisin Cane's is, it's a chicken. Imagine like KFC, but not shit. And then
I'll give you. I would say yes, cleaner, right? Feels cleaner at least.
But hang on, I've not had KFC in the States, so that's like another thing to consider. I ate it with them dirty Europeans, you know, and. And Raisin Cane's is fantastic. It was really, really good. So I've only had it once, but it was amazing.
I was gonna say I don't get why people hate KFC, but if I remember it correctly, I thought it tasted pretty damn good. But I just don't eat it because I know it's bad for me. So like I'm not gonna fuck around with it.
Yeah. I think in the States, like I will say this though, McDonald's in Europe is better.
Why is that?
I don't know. It feels like it. I'm going to use 2 words that don't belong in the same fucking sentence, but it feels like the McDonald's is fresher there.
It feels like it's fresher. Yeah. Is it because when you walked in, it had a nice cool breeze hit your face before you ordered the food?
McDonald's in Japan is also wildly different.
Yes, yes, it is.
Yeah, Joey's just in Japan. Did you go to McDonald's?
Anyway,
I did.
It's our food podcast.
I did.
Would you order from there?
I think I tried 2 things. One was their teriyaki burger. I'm like, I'm here. I guess I have to try it. I probably won't like it. And lo and behold, I didn't like it. But it did taste better. It did taste pretty damn good, but it's not. I just don't like it. It wasn't my thing. And then I tried like a chicken sandwich, like a regular chicken sandwich, and it was delicious.
Yeah.
So
You got to try the same thing all over the place. That's how you find out if it's good. You got to have like the thing you have somewhere else.
Like when I go to
And
diners, every time I diner, it's eggs Benedict. I always get eggs Benedict just so I can see if they
Smart
make it
man.
any better.
Smart man. I had a bit of a wobble in Japan when I first got there because we decided to go quite last minute and we were there for the Rugby World Cup. Shout out Springbok, shout out South African world champions 4 times back to back. Can't beat us. Now,
yeah, throw that in there, huh?
Yeah, sure did.
I'm arguing online with people on Twitter. I don't ever argue with people on Twitter, but when it comes to rugby and someone's like, Ireland's the best team, I'm like, actually, we had a tournament to decide this, and also shut the fuck up to you and your whole family. Like, I'm overly aggressive to everybody who participates in the conversation.
I love that.
But I got to Japan and I was there. We got stuck. We were supposed to come back, and the typhoon happened. That big typhoon that hadn't happened in like 60 years or whatever. And then we were like, "Oh, we don't have a hotel, so we had to find one, which was kind of in the bay." And then a giant, like a 6.7 earthquake hit in that bay, so the whole building shook, and there were alarms and stuff. So that was kind of fun. But in terms of food, I hadn't done the research because we kind of decided to go late. So we got there and I went to just a random place and I had what I could only describe as bouncy chicken because we ordered like regular chicken and fries and like your fork just bounced out of this shit. And I was like, I can't do this. I fucking can't do this. So I went to McDonald's, then we did some research.
I'm sorry, real quick. All I can imagine is you going like this and your hand just like bouncing.
Dude, legitimately, I did it. I hit it like this. And it bounced out, and I looked at my friend, and I went, "We're dying." There's salmonella. And he was like, "At least the internet's really fast." That's what he said in response to "We'll die," which is cool. English people. But we did research a bunch of places, and I'll tell you, if you ever go to Japan, and everyone's probably said this already, just go to like the smallest little place with a queue outside or something. Like find something like. Do your research because I went to a place that was highly, highly rated for sushi, and it was terrible. And I also realized part of the experience that I had of it being terrible is probably because what I'm so used to is westernized sushi, which is not really like original, very authentic sushi. So there's that. So it wasn't that it was bad. It was like the shock of it. But ramen and everything else was fantastic. And that's my TED Talk. You're welcome.
It's funny you say that because I'm planning on going to Italy very soon. And I'm obsessed with Italian food. I love it. But I'm like, I wonder if I'm actually going to like it a lot in Italy. You know what I mean?
No, you will. You will. I've not been, but I have all my friends and like a lot of my family have been. The only thing with it is like everything they do. Whenever you think of like authentic, you know, like if you think of an authentic pizza place, and I can't talk about New York, so please don't rip my head off, Joe. But like if you have like a bunch of pizza places around you and they go, well, this one's authentic. My brain goes, it's misshapen, it's got minimal toppings, and it's thin crust. And I think that from what I understand, that is partly true for a lot of places in Italy. You're not going to get like, if you're like, can I add a bunch of toppings on? Like they're going to be like, get the fuck out of here. They just a 60-year-old man made this over 3 hours. Can you just calm down?
Yeah, we have the same. Joey and I have the same philosophy. Like, if we can go into the pizza shop and get a cheese slice and it tastes phenomenal, it's a good place. If I have to put pepperoni on it, it means it's not that great. That's how we gauge it. Like, if I have to put pepperoni on your pizza to make it taste good, then there's a problem.
What do you think about pineapple?
I don't care.
I'm for it.
I don't care either way.
Joey's dying.
Joey hates it.
He's dying.
We're gonna have this
absolutely dying. Okay. Two questions because this will determine how much you hate this. One, are you for pineapple on pizza? Two, can you dine with someone who's having pineapple on pizza, or are you so offended by the proximity of pineapple on pizza to you that you want to die?
What was the first question?
Do you eat pineapple on pizza?
No.
Okay. Do you care if I do, if we went on a date?
Of course not. What the hell do I care about? It's your food. Eat it.
Okay, I like him. Also, if you ever got a bit hungry, I could baby bird into your mouth and you could try it out.
It might taste better.
Joey will be all for that, man. You know what Joey really loves? He really loves chicken parm with American cheese.
I was so pissed. I was so pissed.
It's the maddest I've ever seen a person.
Yes, it was bad. It was like I was so excited to get this chick from. I was so excited.
Do you know what's
like,
gonna happen? Someone's
so
gonna
hungry.
pull this off the internet,
Oh,
and they're
please
gonna
don't.
use that moment because they're gonna be like, "And this is when things change." And then Joey's got his own documentary on Netflix about how he murdered like 6 people.
American cheese does not belong in chicken parm.
It's gonna be called American Cheese. That's what the Netflix special's gonna be called.
American cheese. All right, guys. We'll get into this. Let's talk about the Judas Priest thing that you sent over. So
Let's do it.
making a new
Who's Judas
album
Priest?
after 50 years.
Yeah, so the first band ever to release albums 50 years apart. And I mean, listen, the problem with a lot of bands that do survive Father Time to a degree is that they just are like horrible shadows of themselves. Like, let's be very honest. And quite usually it's the vocals. If ever you can think of a band that has a unique kind of vocal, 10, 20 years on from then, you really start to see these dudes struggle, whether it's from exerting their voice to be a certain thing it hasn't been or voices shouldn't be, and they back then especially there wasn't, I'm sure, all these tips around honey and whatever before a show. They were just like doing coke and meth or whatever the fuck they were using to warm up, and it's pretty remarkable. I mean, like, the only thing I've done consistently for the last 20 years is breathe, and if I think about that, it becomes an issue. So it's one of the most. Have you ever thought about your own breath and then you focus on it too much and then you don't know if you're doing it right? I do that all the time.
Yes, I have done that.
It's remarkable that they've done this, and they're one of those bands where, like, you go like, when is it enough? Whenever the fuck they say.
Yeah, I was gonna add, there is some singers in this age range that they do it right, where they good example. But again, it's never the famous people that take care of their voices, so it's always there's a vocal coach online that I did lessons with, Ken Tamplin. He's an older gentleman. He can sing his ass off.
Yeah,
he can sing really well. But he takes care of his body and everything. So, and obviously when you're this famous, like, sometimes taking care of yourself goes out the window, right? So
yeah.
Or like, what about Floor from Nightwish? She's older and she has a killer fucking voice, right? She's in her mid 40s, no?
But she grew up in she grew up in like classical and professional training where, there was a warm up. Let's start there, and there was rehabilitation, and there was kind of like information taught about your body. So when I mean, Joe, you're in healthcare. Come on, back me up here. If you start exercising at a gym, you typically, if you've done it before, the difference between like DOMS, like delayed offset muscle spasms from training, and actual injury. Like, the difference. So oh, hang on, I should not do that so much right now. I need to pull back. And I think the same would be said about vocals or any other muscle that you flex. Yep. If you can tell the difference between what is a strain, what is an injury, and what is just usage, you can look after it and keep it going for a bit longer.
Yeah,
absolutely.
When I did vocal training, that's exactly why I've been being so careful I changed my complete diet, exercise, all that stuff, because I noticed when you're in shape, you can hold those vocal lines a lot better, a lot cleaner. You have way more control, but you have to be aware of it. And I think a lot of people, when they're starting off, like you said, if you start off at a young age and you're doing it wrong for so many years, and you finally correct it, but then you add drugs and alcohol on top of that, it's like, it's not, the longevity of it is definitely gonna go downhill for sure.
You can't go like, I'm gonna warm up some lemon and honey and I'm gonna sip on that an hour before the show, but right before I'm gonna do just a tiny bit of heroin.
Just like, let's be honest though. I'm gonna tell you right now, I've done the whole like, oh, let me see what this lemon and honey does to soothe my throat. It does not fucking work. It makes me sound all gurgly and shit when I'm trying to do vocals and stuff. I'm like, why does people think this works? It's like, for me, it's just warm water, water, and that's it. Like,
I got to tell you a thing that happened to me yesterday. It's a little embarrassing, but I will, and it's in no way funny. So I laugh at it now because I can, but so like the whole purpose of, I assume, I'm not a singer. I can't sing a fucking lick, but the whole purpose, I can lick. but the whole purpose of honey, I imagine, is to just give your throat like a coating so that it isn't just raw dogging some big high notes, right? So, but when you said the coating thing, yesterday I sat down. It's spring break, which means kids are off school and chilling, and so is more of balancing a schedule. So yesterday I formed a reaction to a song called Novocaine, which is a collab thing between Too Close to Touch, the singer had passed away, and Bad Omens, so it's Noah. And there's context behind this. So I sat down and I didn't know that the singer had passed away. So I'm already like out of I have like incredibly bad OCD and possibly some other things that I've never had diagnosed. But if I don't, Christ, you don't mind me ranting about this?
I don't care. Go for it.
Okay, so I have like the worst time sometimes where if I can't say a word or a string of words in the exact way that my mouth needs to form a shape to say it, if my face isn't in the way, if my brain isn't thinking about the exact same thing that it should be thinking about each time I say a certain set of words, I can't function. And I got an hour into recording my and the reason I remember this because of what you said is because I drank some like coffee or something, so my throat felt different as well. I got an hour and 10 minutes into recording a reaction, and you know that mine are all like one takes. I don't edit them or anything. I hadn't gotten, of course, goes without saying, I hadn't gotten to the song. I hadn't gotten past one sentence, and I was like in tears about it. I was like, I can't do this. This is the first time in 4 years I can't do this. I had to call B up. I was like, I'm fucked. I couldn't do it just because my throat felt differently.
Yeah.
Like it was a nightmare. So when you said that, I'm like, I can't even begin. That was me sitting at home filming just my dumbass self talking about music. I had that hard a time with it. And it's happened where I have quite regularly 20-25 minutes where I can't get past 4 words unless they sound perfect.
Yeah.
And everything is going the way it should. But yes, there was a particular problem. And then you're talking about vocalists warming up. And I'm like, imagine having any of these issues, even a fraction of them, and you're sitting an hour before a show and you've got this routine of trying to warm up and one thing doesn't go right. Like what? I don't know, dude. I don't know. Like, because people who don't understand, there's so many people out there who go, oh, I got bad OCD because I like to watch the TV on an even number. You don't have OCD. Shut the fuck up. What you have is I need attention. Just calm down.
Yeah.
Like that's what you have. Like OCD is a horrible thing. Like it stopped me from walking for 2 weeks because I couldn't move my ankle.
That sounds like real OCD.
It's horrid.
That's real OCD.
It's
like
just,
a lot of Americans just throw that word out there and just like, I have OCD. Because I'm definitely guilty of that at one point. I'm like, no, I'm just picky.
Well, no, but we all do that. We all go, oh, Christ, I'm so depressed. It's like, well, you're not depressed. You're just a bit sad. Like, you know, unless you are depressed, of course, in which case, like a lot of people, we all do. We're all very verbose with things. And we say stuff that has become like normal dialogue, but it's not really true.
Yeah, it's just you want to make it dramatic. We're all about using those adjectives that make it seem like more, so you're drawn into the story. What people are telling you, like, man, I'm so down, I'm so depressed because X, Y, Z, because it gets that person to listen to you further as you tell the story. I think a lot of people do that naturally just to get people drawn in, but now it's like getting out of hand because everyone just throws those words out there, you know, because you want to seem more dramatic than the last person that just talked about it, right?
Sure.
So you seem more interesting than them. Because if you're just like, oh yeah, I was a little down today. Oh, that's not as cool as saying, damn, I'm so fucking depressed. You know, like, you know,
it's certainly not emo enough to like write an album.
Have you ever heard those conversations or those like arguments where people are trying to say that their situation is more dramatic than the person they're talking to, and they go back and forth, guys, go.
And you get that guy who's like, no, you don't understand. I literally killed him. I'm like, well, did you literally kill him? Because then there's a problem. Because literally he's like, you know what it means? I literally fucking lost my mind. You did? We should call somebody. That's insane. We should get you help. You lost your fucking mind.
Yeah. Yeah, like I always thought there's some people that have gotten in conversation with that, and I just stopped talking. I'm like, okay.
I used to call people out, but I was also like, it's like, what's the point? No, because like what am I doing? Captain Fix It. You know, like you're not going to. It's like I literally can't stand her. I'm like, well, Cassandra, you're 11, so you need to chill. But like, it's not like helpful. Some people are just a little bit more. some people are more dramatic, and I don't think that's also a bad thing. Like, it takes loads of different people to make up a world, and they have certain skill sets that I don't have, but I can't with the like. And we're all selfish assholes. I'm talking about the thing that affects me. So
Mhm.
of course I go after the people who infringe on that thing, who aren't serious about it. That's just how we are. We're human beings.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So with this album, what is called Invincible Shield. That's fitting,
Yeah.
huh?
New
What do you
kneecap, he means.
so it's gonna have 11 new songs, and what do you guys think is gonna sound like? Do you think they're gonna be able to pull it off? He's gonna be able to do it live? I haven't heard him sing live in a long time.
That many albums written that many songs. One, I have you have to wonder, can you withstand a full concert? Can you withstand a tour? Because that's always what you think about when an album comes out. But the
Yeah.
album sounds like they can get that to sound whatever they want in studio. But I always think, like, what's the motivation? And music itself couldn't be the motivation. You don't do this for this long without absolutely loving music. This isn't some kind of money grab where they disappeared for like 30 years and now they're back again. But
I think he wanted to beat a record, honestly. He's like,
well,
oh,
do
this...
you do you start like, as a band that's so popular and so big and so prominent, you basically almost own the genre. You are the definitive whatever in a genre, or at least one of them. Do you then just start writing songs to sound like Judas Priest?
Yeah, I
or
wonder.
is there still enough creative flow to like go in a different direction?
Yeah, do you experiment? He's 72, by the way.
72.
I mean, Ozzy's been doing it forever. But he didn't have the 50-year gap. He actually has been releasing albums pretty consistently, right? Up until he stopped. I think he officially stopped now, if I'm not mistaken. I have to look that up real quick. But
with respect to Ozzy, he's mentally hasn't always been there, and so I think, but also I don't know, like Rob's personality. Basically, Ozzy's personality is such that I imagine he doesn't put a lot of thought into like the bigger picture stuff. He's just a creative human being who does a thing.
Yeah.
Whereas this seems different.
It does. What do you think, Joe?
It's cool though.
Yeah, but do you have any thoughts on it, Joe?
I mean, honestly, I haven't listened to Judas Priest in a long time, and if you're going back into something that you've taken a lot of time off, it takes a long time. I feel like it takes a long time just to get back into it, just to train yourself, everybody to really to get back into where they at least try to. I don't know, just it seems like it might be pretty difficult, especially at 72.
Yeah, for sure. You put up another thing, Conquer Divide, Chase.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and talk about that?
Yeah, I just think it's relevant to me because I, in this reaction scene, I found them through my channel. They did the collab with Electric Callboy. It was very cool. It's like pop punk, but it was a very, very good pop punk song.
I haven't heard of them
just like
yet.
A great collab. And what they do, what Conquer Divide do is a little bit heavier, but they're actually like really, really fucking talented. All girl group describe them as, I guess, like heavier alternative. I guess there's some growls, there's some stuff, but basically they put out an announcement to say that their bassist, I think that's who Janelle is. I'm not. Yeah. It's their bassist, and she does kind of a lot of the backing heavier vocals. Is leaving. But what I thought. So obviously, good luck to her. Good luck to the band. Hope it's like they seem like it's on good terms. There's no drama there. It seems like she's just pursuing things. But one of the things that if you just scroll a little bit up for me, there's a section that I really thought was very, very interesting. And Alan, you can talk probably to this a little bit more than anyone else. But there it says, it's not easy being a touring musician. As people, we grow and evolve, and so do their aspirations and priorities. It's been a friend of theirs for a decade. They'll have each other's backs, and who knows, their paths may cross again. Like, how I don't think people realize, and I've only had a very, very little, tiny, infinitely small taste of this, but I don't think people realize just how taxing it is to be a touring musician. Now, please don't hear what I'm not saying. In no way do I compare this to any other job. I just think people would be surprised at how difficult it is to, when you're at a level like them, they're big enough to be known and big enough to be, kind of like meet and greets and photos, and people want to know them, but they probably still carrying a lot of their own stuff and doing a lot of their own setup. They are it's not going to be paying enough that you're set and you're good and you can just do whatever. You're in different countries all the time. You miss birthdays. You miss, different states in America so big. Obviously, you miss moments all the time. Like, it is massively demanding. And I think what fans can tend to do is jump to the conclusion of like being upset at somebody rather than thinking like, Jesus Christ, they've put in so many yards, like good luck to her, and just be a little supportive of whatever it is she wants to do.
Yeah, it's crazy to even make the decision to leave that, especially after you put in all that time and effort because of everything that goes behind the scenes. And something I think that gets forgotten about, like when you're at this level, even the band I just toured with, Source, which was just a few months ago, something that makes this whole thing taxing, like among loading and unloading and putting it up and setting up everything, make sure it sounds good, dealing with promoters and vendors, especially with Source, it's even worse because I did everything for them. I did merch, sound, setting up, handling all the problems, but also we're not fucking getting sleep because we're on this little bus with mattresses this small with 5 dudes in one little van. That sucks in that situation. My current situation that's coming up is going to be a lot better. But bigger bands have more amenities, of course. So my next tour will be a lot more cushiony. But a lot of it has to do with that lack of sleep, and this is why like bands start fighting and stuff on the road, because then you have to deal with that too. You have to deal with all the personalities that you're dealing with on the road, and that's another thing you have to be able to manage, which a lot of bands fail to manage. I witnessed a lot of situations already from that 3 weeks. So I'm about to do this month one. Who knows what's going to happen on this? They seem a little bit more put together, but all that stuff, what I'm trying to say is not saying that she dealt with that. What I'm saying is you have to be cognizant of that happening and you have to be prepared for it. You have to, you're dealing with so many people like that, just like when you work the service industry. You have to be mentally prepared for that. So it's mentally taxing physically and all stuff and everything you have going down. Like you're saying, not taken away from other jobs, but on top of that, you don't get compensated fairly as much as I would. Like, since I was helping the band, they're paying me, right? But that's coming out of their funds. Part of me feels horrible because I'm in a band myself, so I'm probably getting paid better than the band is, but I'm making their life easier. But since I come from the band perspective, I go above and beyond and make sure they're like golden, when I'm helping them. But
well, Joe, I do actually want to. This is actually a fun. I'm making a joke about this. I don't mean to, but what is it that you do within healthcare? You don't have to be too specific.
I work in the OR. I help with surgeons and surgery.
Okay, Jesus Christ, because this is even better. So like the parallels are hysterical. Like bands being a touring artist and being in the healthcare industry, it's like lack of sleep, tick. Access to things that aren't always good for you, but can ease your struggles. It's like, and also you're constantly dealing with people who think they know how to do it better than you.
Yes, very much. And one more that I didn't mention that's actually related to that is I actually am a traveler. So I do travel across the country doing this job.
Oh, damn. Okay, so that's perfect. You're like a fucking medical rock star.
Yeah, the sad thing with...
Man, I can't wait to get your hands in me.
But that's what a lot of people say. I'm used to that.
Well, with Joey's situation, it's we should talk about that. I think you'll find this interesting, Chase. So being a traveler, you make like twice as more than a person that actually lives in their current city that does his current job.
Okay.
Which is about tax? Fascinating.
Do you just pay tax?
I pay taxes in my home state.
Or do you... Okay, that's cool. Okay, that's fine then. That tricks me out, because I'm still getting used to that system.
It is weird. For me, it's still hard to get used to because like I'm just doing it now, where I had to take 3 months off from the state I was working in if I want to go back. Because if I stayed, I'd have to pay taxes in both states. So I had to leave.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
So he'll stay 3 months in Boston and then go back to New York. And then he'll go back to Boston when he gets scheduled over there, because that's where you've been going back to the most.
You must love what you do.
Absolutely.
Because like you can't. I understand like when you do something for long enough, and let's not even talk about what I'm sure are exorbitant and extensive studying fees. But when you do something for as long as you do. So when you do something as intense as what you do, and you have all these additional quote unquote struggles around it. You don't have like an office around the corner that you can drive to all the time. You got to be in different places, and that can be fun and that can be tricky. You have to fucking absolutely love what you do, and that goes a little bit with music as well, I think.
You have to have a certain kind of personality.
Absolutely.
Right? You have to have a special kind of personality. Like, that's what I've noticed. Like, I absolutely love performing, and that's what motivates me to keep doing what I'm doing. To an unhealthy amount, you know, like to the point where I'm in like 4 bands right now, 2 cover bands, original band. I just love playing, but I don't make diddly squat from it, except for the cover bands, but not as much, you know? So I think you have to be sort of psychotic for certain jobs. You know what I mean? Like, to keep doing.
I got a quick question for Joey.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm trying to not get you in trouble here because I don't want you to be. But because you go travel around so much, and obviously there's probably certain states you travel to more than others.
Yeah.
Is that like? I imagine working with a bunch of surgeons all the time. There's a lot of egos at play. There must be. There must.
Oh yeah.
If I was saving people's lives, I would be like, I'm the fucking best. Like, what's your superhero? These fingers, bitches. That's my superhero power. But is that ever like tricky? Do you ever like encounter personalities where you're like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can do this.
Absolutely, and that gets tested when you get called at 3 a.m. to work with those people. Definitely have a lot of stories of instances where a surgeon specifically, would be very like, you know, ego is like way the hell up here, and to everyone else stood down here, and
Joey's
definitely bitten them in the ass.
Joey's had situations where he had to tell the surgeon what to do, right?
Yes, actually quite often.
Tell him that story?
I've actually been called while driving. Or a video chat, like a video call. And next thing I see is like a patient's legs in the air, and they're going, Joe, what do I do? What the fuck? I'm driving. Why are you video chatting me with? No.
It makes sense that, because like I'll explain like another example about SA. So you travel and you work with so many different surgeons that you must have just like a broader base of knowledge, and also or experience, should I say. And you also working in different places is like important. So I know in South Africa, there's a lot of doctors who actually go to SA to do like a residency when they're after they're studying. And there's a lot of doctors from South Africa who end up getting poached all over the world: Australia, England, US, everywhere, Africa, just Africa in general. And the reason for that is because when they do their residencies, the kind of shit that they see sometimes is so harsh and brutal and rare that they develop like this knowledge base and skill sets around thinking about things differently and encountering certain problems that is needed in kind of first world countries where you don't see that level of maybe brutality as much as you can see. So you must have just like you must be like poached. Like people just get your number, call you up and be like, you got to get to Kentucky. There's a guy with a pole in him.
All the time. It's ridiculous the amount of phone calls I get a day, text messages, emails. It's actually quite annoying.
Yeah, because they're always trying to get you to go to other states. Because Joey's been choosing Boston as his main state to go to because it's been like probably the best work environment. But you still get hit up. I remember you tried another state and you were like, "Fuck this," and then
yeah, I did. I went to Idaho, went to North Carolina, Virginia. I've been in New Orleans. I've been around.
I remember when you were in New Orleans, but that was a while ago, right?
Yeah. The last couple of years, I've been in Boston. I've stayed in Boston.
Yeah. What's the difference between Boston and like the other places, if you can say?
Well, it's hard to like. Some places were like just not good at all, and I just was not being a part of that. Boston, I think it's the doctors, the physicians I work with are much more skilled. I think.
Really?
I mean, at the same time though, it's hard to say because those physicians come from other states as well. Like they're not just from Boston.
Yeah.
So it's just my experience. I've worked with a lot better physicians in Boston than I have anywhere else.
Yeah.
Are they just like angrily? They don't even use scalpels and forceps. They're just angrily punching people open and like taking their organs out.
Okay, we're good to go.
So, staying on this band topic we're talking about, do we want to say anything about this any further? I got an interesting band story.
No, I'm good.
All right, so there's this singer that was let go from the band. He admitted to, I can't remember the band name. It was just, I just heard this. I think it was on a Nick Nocturnal video. It's pretty wild. So this singer liked one of the members' wives or girlfriends. So he snuck estrogen.
Wait, start that again. A singer was let go of a band.
Yes, the singer was let go from the band. Okay.
Okay.
Because he admitted that he liked another member's wife or girlfriend. Can't remember exactly. And he was slipping estrogen into his protein shake so that it would seem like he was less manly and she would prefer him over him. I like your face.
This is a sitcom.
Is this? Would you consider this a big brain move or pretty dumb?
Well, it's pretty dumb because he told the guy. I mean, like that's the first dumb thing. But, I mean, don't do it. Don't do it. But like also two things. And again, I'm no doctor. One, it's not really how estrogen just works straight away. you don't put some estrogen in a guy's like hot dog bun and he's all of a sudden sobbing into his pants. It's not how it works. Okay.
And then she's gonna leave.
He may get some juicy tears, but we gotta calm down. Yeah. But the other thing is like, I mean, I don't want to say, I'm going to get in trouble with this.
Just say it.
Whenever I hear stuff like this, I always think, what's the bigger picture? Because you're not hearing the full story always. You're not always hearing the full story. And it's like, I assume, and I'm not blaming anyone, I don't even know who the band is. I assume that somebody would only confess this if they, in some small way, believed that the other person felt something back. Now, they may be crazy and just imagining it, or maybe the girl's like super friendly and they're misreading it, or maybe there's interest. I wonder. So, I don't know.
So before I read this article off to you, I did find it. What kind of band do you think this is coming from? What kind of genre?
I will tell you straight up, this is like a death metal band. I think it's going to be the opposite of what we think it is.
It's pretty close. What? Hardcore singer.
Yeah. It's going to be the opposite of what you think it is. Yeah.
Dosing band with estrogen in an attempt to steal his fiance.
What's the band name?
I don't know if this says in here, but all right. So, a small-time hardcore band shot to viral fame over bizarre gender-bending tale, one that involves singers supposedly dosing his bandmate with estrogen. I don't think they put the name in here. It's on the Instagram. Let's see if it says it in the article. Claiming that the vocalist Diego attempted to force a transition on his supposed pal by giving him pre-workout drinks laced with female hormone. The vocalist's goal, according to the post, was to make himself look more manly compared to his love rival Diego. Could swoop in. The band's post called it a stupid caveman mindset that makes zero sense. We have decided to part ways with our vocalist due to admission of very disturbing and concerning behavior towards one of our band members or partners. So that's part of the statement that the band wrote. I'm trying to find the band name, though. I guess they don't list it. That's interesting. If anybody knows the band name, let me know. Joey, what were you going to say, though? I accidentally cut you off.
What, me? Joey, yeah, go for it.
Just how old were these people?
Good question. Very good question.
That's a very good question. Doesn't really say much after that. The
post went viral. That's pretty young thinking, and that's stupid immature thinking, I guess.
Oh, the band's called Lorna. Lorona.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So it's LLOR.
Okay. Well, listen. There's a weird psychology here because there's two very, very clearly two different types of personalities. There's the kind of person who thinks about what he wants and goes, how do I make myself better to get it? And then there's the person who goes, how do I make the competition worse? And it's like, it probably is less energy to just make yourself more appealing, more like of a nice guy and desirable for just a human being. I'm not saying for anyone's partner, I'm saying in general. But it's a weird mindset to be like, I'm not going to work on me. I'm going to try and make other people shitter.
Right. That's
such a weird.
It's quite the mindset.
We got a text message from the singer.
A weird take.
So the text message he wrote to the band was, "I was really drunk and told Six and his fiance, which is the other band member, that I was obsessed with her and had a deep hatred for Six and gave Six estrogen to get an edge up on him."
This guy needs therapy, man. He needs better help. Are we sponsored? We need to get,
better help.
We need to get this guy. But also, like, B's got a good question. Of all of the things he could have thought about to get an edge up, he's like, I'm gonna get this bitch estrogen. That's not a drunken thought. That's a sober thought. You have to.
That's scary. That's scary that's a sober thought. No, now let's go work out. Let's get myself in shape. Let's go eat right. Let's just do the right thing. No, let's just go give some estrogen.
But also, let's just go find someone who's not married.
Yeah.
Right? Or about to, right?
Or fiance. Yeah. It's weird. But also, again, like band, you know, when you're in a band, small or not, you live in your own little bubble. You've got your own little universe, and sometimes you start making your own rules about life. And it is a strange place.
So if you're the band, right? I'm thinking about this like from a promotional standpoint. I'm like, this just happened. This is a good thing. This is a good way to turn this into a positive. I would hurry up and get a new singer and just start fucking playing shows immediately. Because this band doesn't even have an album out yet, right? I'm like, you know what? This is a bad situation. Let's fucking capitalize on all this social media presence. By the way, new album's coming out. Would you do
and
that,
like part of,
or would you not
part of the
do
audition
that?
is sing this song and then also like, what do you think of my wife? And he's like, she's okay. You're like, you can join.
New addition to the interview process.
I mean, that could be the first song they write. It could be about that. You know, that's a pretty hardcore lyrics right there. I think that would turn into a great hardcore song. You know,
it should just be like aggressive as hell. In the chorus, he just cries. He just sobs and leaks from his boobs.
That's pretty dynamic. That'd be a very dynamic song for a hardcore band. Yeah. But I love it.
We got Gen Z. We've got what's Alpha, Gen Alpha, and then we've got Estrogen. That's the new one.
Oh man, I mean, Joey, if you're feeding someone amounts of estrogen, like what's the worst that would actually happen in that scenario?
I mean, it takes time. Like you were saying, it's not something that you'd see anything for like months.
Yeah.
So unless you're very patient, you're not going to get anywhere. I mean, you would.
What would you say is the recommended dose you'd have to give for this?
Oh God, you're gonna get him fired. You're gonna get him straight up fired.
I don't want to give anybody ideas. You know, I'm not gonna give people.
What
ideas,
is the recipe for success for this individual? Oh, no, I was kidding.
The other problem is it needs to be continuous. Like you have to keep giving it to them like almost every day. Because like if there's a period of time where you stop, your body will readjust over time, and everything you did was pointless. So it needs to be consistent.
Do you know what would have been fucking amazing? Do you know what would have been absolutely amazing?
What?
He somehow plans this out. He gets the dosage right. He gets the supply he needs, and he pumps this fucking dude full of estrogen. I mean, he milks this boy up, and this dude's becoming just more and more delicate and just gentle, and he just becomes really in touch with his like emotions. And the girl falls even deeper in love with him because he can. He like makes it worse. She's like, I've always found you so harsh, but now like whatever the guy's name is, I would fucking if after like 17 months of this like sneaking into his therapy stuff, they're like, we've never been more in love.
that would be insane.
That would be perfect, honestly.
Oh yeah, we've got to block testosterone as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so he messed up. Yeah. So he would have to put in testosterone blocker and estrogen.
Yes.
You know?
Jesus. A plan. Yeah. Listen, this plan should have fallen through when he said, "Where do I get estrogen?" Like that should have. That's where this plan should have stopped.
Yeah. I kind of forgot to mention this when we talked about Judas Priest, but Marilyn Manson's also coming back after multiple allegations that he had, but he's finally coming back with new music. Just curious how you guys feel about that. Another artist.
Sorry, I'm just reading all the comments. Obviously, we've got John Reeves, who's going to be back with apparently more tattoos. So I'm going to have to scout his body. We've got Ken giving us some good info there. He said, "Is it Lalona?" You gave us band name. C. Davis. I told him that we were in the chat. That's why he's joining, because I'm awesome. And then B goes, he's admitting it was probably a last-ditch effort to get her. Like, look what I did for you, which probably made her vagina dry up. Yeah. That's such a bitch. Anyway,
Oh man,
go back to Manson.
Yeah, so he's coming back after all these allegations.
He's coming back amidst all of the sexual allegations. What do we think about it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I just want to say something. I've always heard this over in my lifetime. I understand a lot of people can say fake allegations. That's definitely a thing. But when it's so many allegations,
well,
like, are they all false?
How many is it?
Yeah. Because that's what in the article they just said he has multiple people that come out alleging that he did wrongdoing to them, and he's denied it since then. But like when you have, let me see how many it actually is.
Yeah, I find his situation a little more than others. I'll tell you why. I absolutely abhorrently hate the idea of victim blaming. I hate it. And I hate the idea of not giving people who have been brave enough to speak about something that's hurtful or hard. I hate the idea of sounding in any way like overly in opposition, because that's like a really difficult, hard thing for them to do. But I will say this.
He's had more
Manson
than a
is a
dozen.
particular kind of character. Yeah, but Manson's a particular character. And there's two parts to this for me where I'm like, I'm not saying either way. I'm just saying these are considerations. One, he's a celebrity. He's a popular one. And he's one that, his fame was so big at a time where fame actually mattered. And if somebody had a genuine encounter with him and went, hey, this is what I had, you're probably going to find at least 3, 4, or 5 more people making up something just to be a part of it, because the closest they can ever get to him is this lie. So that's one thing. Is there are people that, so out of a group of people, I would say the majority of them are there's probably at least some lack of clarity in some of the things. The other thing I would say is Manson's a weird dude and he likes what he likes. And if he's with a girl and he's into a bit of light choking, and she then goes on to become a mother with a baking show on YouTube and doesn't quite like that as part of her image, then there's going to be a dispute about the person she is and the person she was. Versus, I know I'm very different to how I was 10 years ago to who I am now. And I'm sure some of the stuff I did, I'm not very proud of. So, and of course, I'm in no way relating to this. I'm talking about just being a human being and how nice I was to people, or how
we
cool
can still keep doing the choking chase. It's fine. Choking's fine with us.
I'm okay. He's got a firm grip.
Damn.
No. I do think that, like, it's hard because it's like, what happens? Okay, so if I say that an accuser is not telling the truth, what is the worst thing that happens? Well, the potential is that there is a conversation around someone not telling the truth, and then maybe they don't get the justice they deserve, right? And if I say that he's not guilty and he's whatever, then the potential is that he loses out on a career and a job, and he potentially goes to jail. So I don't get into any of the legal stuff. All I know is there's a bunch of people that make up lies. They have done about famous people for all time. I've heard people talk absolute horse shit about me in my chats. People who've never met me in my life, just randomly. They're like, "Oh, Chase is my buddy. We speak all the time." I'm like, I have no idea who you are. So, like, and I'm like a Z-list celebrity. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
So here's something else that comes up about this. So he's had more than a dozen women that have made these allegations, right, against Manson, but they've settled a lot out of court. So I want to mention this because a lot of people, when you hear, oh, why did he settle out of court? Maybe he is guilty. Well, I just want to let you all know, it's a lot more money to go to court and actually defend yourself than it is to just settle. It's way cheaper to just settle.
And also, likewise, you could say, well, if the person settled with him, the person who accused, well, then they're obviously not telling the truth. They were just after money. No, not true. If they feel like they can't win the case and this is the only justice they can get is financial remuneration for this terrible time.
Yep.
Who knows? Like it's this what I'm saying. Like the victims, if there are victims, and the perpetrator, if he is one, they got to figure it out in the court system. But what you do have in the meantime is people basically drawing lines in the sand based on personal experience. If someone has been a victim of sexual assault, anytime they hear it or see it in a film, it affects them a lot more, and they will indefinitely be more believable of a person who makes an accusation. And if you are someone who was in a band for a while, even not a big one, you'll probably go, I know what it's like to have people make stuff up and lie and try and kind of cause a bit of trouble. So it's just tough.
This is why I say to everyone, keep yourself out of situations.
Yeah.
You know, it really does matter, because even if you did absolutely nothing, if you find yourself in like weird situations, it's going to come up. So the more you expose yourself to like insane parties or insane like crazy gatherings, or a bunch of people doing drugs or alcohol or whatever, like things just get fucked up. Even if you're completely fine, not doing anything, you never know. Like when you're in those situations, something bad could happen, you know? And I think
there's a
So true.
and who knows and like I said, with it, like we were just saying with him, who knows what he was involved with or involved in, you know? And he could have been fine and didn't do anything incorrect, but we don't know.
Well, there was a baseball player, and I don't know his name, and thank God I don't, because I don't want to say it and get it wrong. But there was a baseball player, or like he was an up and coming star player, or he's a major league. I think he was in the major league, like he was like in the MLB as a pitcher, and he was involved with an incident where he was with a girl, and they had strings and strings and strings of like very, very aggressive, violent, sexual back and forths. Even acknowledgements of meeting up or something like that, and they were both on board with it, both very on board, and it was brutal stuff they were saying, and she was like fully consensual, except one time they met up, and during one of these encounters he straight up knocked her out and had sex with her, is the accusation. And she was like, what the hell, dude? And he's going, well, look at all this, you were into it. And he's like, it's like, you can't knock someone out, you fucking idiot. Like, what are you doing?
Crazy, dude.
And that's like
crazy.
That's disgusting. Let me be very clear. It's the most disgusting shit ever.
Yeah.
But he's going to hold up in court and go, look at all this like consensual evidence. It's like, yeah, but nobody can consent and want that. That's like, you see what I mean? Like it gets to your point, stay out of that nonsense. And if you've got like a fetish or a kink or something, I don't know. There's professionals out there. Go to a BDSM person or some bullshit and sign a contract. I don't know what you want to do.
Yeah, because I've been in, younger days, just being in wrong situations, and all of a sudden I'd be accused of things. And I'm like, well, what the hell? And when I stop putting myself in those situations, lo and behold, no more accusations, right?
Oh,
I see. Ken says that she was found to be lying. If she was, then that's even this. But this. If that's the, and again, I'm not saying I don't believe you. I only say if, because if I don't read it, I don't take the information, and there's no judgment in you. I need to be reading it. But if that's the case, and she recorded herself and she was bragging or whatever, this proves exactly the point that I'm making about the Manson thing. Yeah. Is that it can be so, like, even to me who's very skeptical, so obviously wrong and true, and it isn't.
Well, when you're with like certain women, you got to be more aware of what their intentions are. This is why it's so important to like vet who you're with, you know? I mean, you can't get it right all the time, of course, you know, and when you're impaired, you're really not making the correct decisions. You know, it just goes back to that. And this is one person out of the dozen, right? So I'm not sure what happened with the other ones, but that's crazy. I think that's from the main case that Ken's talking about. So I think that's why he's getting back into music, because it's finally behind him.
Music stuff. Okay, music stuff. Yeah. I get it.
But I gotta laugh at this real quick. It's Hayesby says, speaking of estrogen, Manson. That would have been a good segue.
How did we miss that segue? How did we miss that?
I know. I was thinking about it, but then I started talking, and then I saw her comment. Like, yeah, should have said that.
My brain's become incredibly good at filtering out what I think is, because I would have had a far less funny and far more like cancelable phrasing than I think what
cancelable phrasing.
So I normally just keep it just in the back of my fucking mouth.
This podcast is all about canceling ourselves as much as possible.
Yeah, you're right.
Is it? Is that
that's the goal.
Oh man.
Oh, I didn't know that. You should have told me ahead of time.
Yeah, go for it, Joe.
All
No,
the shit I could have said.
No, because you know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna do some dumb shit, and I'm gonna need you and some other dude to double fist me and fix me. So I need you to have your job. Like,
look at Joey's face. He's like, with pleasure.
If that's what you need, sir, then I guess I have to provide it. I mean, that's just my job. That's what I get paid for. Might as well do it.
This is important. So B goes, just on this quick. B goes, women are far more vulnerable, but also far more able to accuse of anything. So exaggerations and all. And then obviously we've got Matt saying accusations need to be taken seriously, but the person being accused also needs their due process before the consequences. Completely agree. The only thing I would tweak on that statement is accusations need to be taken seriously if there is evidence. I can't take any accusations seriously unless there's some shred of evidence. And evidence can be a text or can be whatever, but if it's just hearsay, and listen, the person who knows that girl, her father, her sisters, her brothers, they have to rally around her and they have to believe her. I don't know these people. I'm just sitting on the outside going, unless you got evidence, I ain't believing nothing.
Right? Yeah. Very true. Just goes back to that band member who sent a text of putting estrogen into that shake. That's pretty good evidence, you know? It's straight up admission, you know?
The least hardcore thing you can do. I'm in a hardcore band. I put estrogen in.
His excuse was as I got drunk. I'm like, bro, you had to do it multiple times.
That is...
That's crazy.
That is such a sober thought. I don't want to hear that.
All right, guys. Well, that's all we have for today. Unless you guys want to add something else to this conversation. Any other?
No, just I believe a little birdie told me that Unleash the Archers is going to have another video coming out soon.
Oh,
so
hell
keep
yeah.
an eye out for that if you're a fan. And did you want to say anything about this Baby Metal collab thing? I mean, I don't know anything about it.
I didn't have really much to add to it because I didn't look into it, but they're collabing with an Indonesian band and F-Zero, which I can't remember where he's from, but it's going to be a huge collab. It's like 3 different artists doing one song together. So that'll be interesting. I'm really interested in hearing how it sounds. I didn't listen to that other band yet, so that's why I didn't. But I will be listening to it later, and I'll have some thoughts on it for next week on what I think this.
Quick question on that though, before it comes out, and I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I think it is great. I think of course it's a good thing. Of course it's a good thing.
It's a Thai rapper. Sorry.
But if you have a bunch of band members, and I don't know all the different bands, I don't know who that other guy is, but I'm going to assume that they're not able to all like be very fluent in English. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, and they just said there's a teaser, so I'll pull up this teaser. Yeah.
So my point is going to be, if you are struggling to communicate, obviously music is universal, but writing songs isn't. It would be interesting to see how that process works. Like, do they have to get like people in to help? Like, how do you because writing songs is spur of the moment, it's feeding off of each other, and can you do that without talking? I'd love to see that. That'd be cool.
Without talking?
Let's see if I can pull up this teaser or whatnot. See if it's on here. I don't see it on the main YouTube channel. So maybe Serga, you have it somewhere. I can pull it up. We could check it out real quick.
Let's have a look. Whenever I type Baby Metal in, it's just you come up, Alan.
Are you serious?
On my Google search. Yeah. Obviously, I subscribed to you, but you're clearly in something, right? It's just your face.
It's just my face. But yeah, we'll see what if Serga go to F Heroes. Okay, I'm gonna go to F Heroes channel.
F Hero.
And I guess the teaser's over there.
I mean, the photo that they've put together is one of the most badass things I've ever fucking seen.
Oh yeah, here it is.
Marvel movie. It's awesome.
Here is the teaser. Let's check this out real quick. Let me make sure you guys can hear it. Well, the music video already looks cool. I'm pausing it because we'll get slammed with reversing it. Oh, that's the end of it anyways. Yeah, that's the end of it anyways.
So it's a proper little teaser. I like that. That's cool.
Okay, we're going to get screams? I'm all here for it.
Man, that's cool. Yeah.
All right.
I'm
proper scene setting like that.
I got to say this, though. I am a huge fan. Actually, might be an interesting topic. I'm a huge fan of having female and male vocals together in one song. It's always been one of my favorite things to hear.
Aladdin.
And
Fucking sick.
I wish there was more songs like that in the metal scene. I really do. Because Maximum Hormone, that's one of the reasons why I love that band. Because all 4 of them are phenomenal, unique vocalists, in my opinion. They sound really cool together. I absolutely love it. And it has all the strange music. But whenever Baby Metal does these collabs, I always enjoy it a lot. You know, like Bring Me the Horizon, Baby Metal, absolutely fucking loved it. I just like the contrast between male and female vocals in a song. It's one of my favorite things. How do you guys feel about that?
I agree. Yeah. I do like the contrast between the two. It usually comes out pretty damn good.
I mean, I say Aladdin because it's like such a great iconic male female like song on a Disney movie, but it is the truth. I mean, whether it's screaming or singing, males and females are very different people. So whether it come and yes, obviously you can have males with ranges that are like way out of what you expect a male's range to be in, likewise with females. But I do think it's just like an extra element of contrast, like an extra bit of layering and depth that you don't typically see. And I would like to see it reversed sometimes, where I could see like a really strong male singing voice with like a heavier female vocal. That'd be pretty cool to see. You don't see that enough, but yeah, I love it.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, that's all I got, guys. Guys, this was fun. I enjoyed doing this.
Thanks, Joey.
I know we're a little bit behind. Joey, thanks for joining last minute. This is fun having you here, having your perspective. So you're more than welcome to join us whenever.
My pleasure.
Joey the legend.
No legend here. Nonsense.
So you guys stay awesome out there. See you guys in the next one. See you.
Cheers. Peace.